Hello everyone, it's the Canadian Futures Trader here. Welcome to the channel and welcome to the video.
Gotta get more followers.
If you have not already, be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications, get notified every time I put out a brand new video. Today's video going to be going over several Ultrabond trades. The one you're looking at is from Sunday night, and I'll explain that in a second. This one ends up being a big winner. And then I did several trades on Monday. The treasuries were very active, so it made for some exciting times. So let's get to it. I won't dedicate too much time to each individual trade because a lot of times the story is just the same. But I know sometimes people like seeing Jigsaw in action. Who wouldn't? In this trade, I'm trading the Ultrabond. You see it here on the right. I am short at this price up here of 09, and it's already moved. I wasn't planning on recording on Sunday evening, nor was I really anticipating a ton of movement. Typically, a Sunday evening, you do not get much activity. I did go short. I was seeing some pressure down. I mean, you're seeing it right now live here in the 10-year. I mean, they're just hammering it. They're pushing it down. It's at its low. I mean, you're seeing all of ththese snap down even further. So I did go short up here. I would have honestly been happy with one or two ticks. That's all I was expecting. But we got a rapid movement down. I mean, you kind of see my white arrow there moving. You can kind of follow what happened based on these two inside columns. These are actual executed trades. The sellers just pounded this down, and you see they moved it down very easily. I mean, not a lot of contracts are trading, and they're just popping this down. And you're not seeing a lot of pushback because you're not seeing a lot of blue here. So they're just down, 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 down. You're seeing like the occasional buyback up. So at this point, I'm short at 09. It's down at 02. You know, we're good for 7 ticks. I have my stop loss set here, and eventually what I do is I actually set a take profit somewhere down here, and that's what I'm doing here is I'm counting out ticks. Because of the consistency rule with Earn2Trade, you can only make, I'm in the 150K, can only make to $2,700 in any given day to be under the 30%. So just in case, I mean, unlikely, but just in case it just falls away, hey, we don't create another problem for ourselves. Now, we unfortunately don't run into this problem. So I went ahead just a few minutes. At this point, you know, like I said, I have this take profit set at 04, so we'd be good for 5 ticks. Not too bad. And at 4 contracts, that is a $625 winner if we get taken out at this price. And honestly, I think we do. Just to give you guys the punchline, it ended up actually just kind of stalling here. And it does come up eventually. It either hits this or I might move it down one. I can't quite remember. And then I actually continued to watch this for the next half an hour, and it just stayed within this little range. So in some ways, this was just a fortunate break that we got here. But, I mean, some of it is also just based on the order flow. I mean, you see the sellers just pounding down over here. That's where I'm continuing to kind of hope for. And you see, too, the 30-year here is trading right at its lows. I mean, there's 5, so it just moved down here, and the way you can tell that is 5 contracts have traded in total at this price, and you see the 5 executed here. So it's just now moving down here, and it just snapped back up, and this is probably about where I get taken out here. Could have got an extra tick out of this, but was more than happy with the 5 ticks, especially for a Sunday evening where I really was just looking to scrape, you know, 1 or 2 ticks out of the market to get a head start for Monday. And just to bring this to completion, there is where I get taken out, and we are done with this trade. Let's look at the next one on Monday. So a couple of the next trades are fairly quick. Monday, I mean, treasuries was just charging up. They would kind of freeze for a little bit, charge up. They blew up even much further than this through the course of the day. I have put these in kind of chronological order. We only get 2 ticks here, but it is legitimately like a very quick trade. So I'm long at 2.7 for 4 contracts. I've already moved my stop loss up to break even. It's already moved up to, you know, 3 ticks I could get out for here. I'll let this play. So I move my stop up so we lock in at least 1 tick of profit, and very quickly here I move it up to the second one, and we do get tapped out here, but that's okay. There's a few more entries here. I'm all about just trying to grab the few tick wins. We can always re-enter. So this one, I'm actually not even in the trade yet, but I wanted to just kind of show in Jigsaw a little bit of how you can read some of this. So I'm going to use the Ultrabond, but also the 30-year. And I kind of mentioned in the previous trade, all you see is blue here. These are just buyers. There's almost no pushback from sellers. You see it over here on the 10, the 5, and of course in the Ultrabond. Now, Also, just looking at the number of contracts, I mean, it doesn't take a lot of movement. You know, some of these are like 10, 15, 38, 16 just to push through levels. So, and that last trade, it was down in this price range. It's already gone up to a high of 10 and it's back down. And this is legitimately not that much. I think it's about 10 or 15 minutes after the previous trade. So here I am just trying to get long. I'm trying to get back in. Like I said, I'm okay taking a few ticks. If I get stopped out, so be it. And you see, this was an unfortunate one. I didn't catch it. I wanted to get in, I didn't get filled, and then it took off 4 ticks almost immediately. So we missed out on this trade, unfortunately. Okay guys, so this next trade, actually I recorded a bunch of little like 2-tick winners, 1-tick winners, and I realized they're really not that exciting. But this one ends up being a big winner, so I want to include it. Again, you remember we were originally down, it's even off the screen, at kind of 201.00. Then we were playing in kind of the, 07 range essentially. Now it's up at 23. Like the treasuries are just on a move. Like this is not like normal daily activity, I would say. This trade works out as well and ends up being a pretty big winner. So we're long at 23 for 4 contracts. I have my stop set here. I'll probably jump ahead a little bit just because this one does take a little bit to play out. So just kind of fast forwarding about, I don't know, about 3 minutes or so. It's moved up some. Again, it hasn't really charged up. At this point, I have my stop loss set with 1 tick, take profit. I'm sure I move it up here very shortly. I have my take profit set up here. It's got a nice head of steam. So I move my stop loss up to 3 ticks. I mean, it's a judgment call. I don't want to get stopped out and miss out on a run. At the same time, I don't want to give up. Remember, each tick is $125 at 4 contracts. Got some nice protection here. Now, certainly, you do get a lot of spoofing in the treasuries. I mean, some of this will most likely fall off pretty quickly. You saw them both drop pretty quickly, but it didn't completely disappear. When the price ticked down, they did fall, but not too much. And just quick reference, I mean, the 30 years are right up at their highs, the 10s, the 5s, everybody's up at the highs here. So I jumped ahead a little bit more, just another minute or two, just to spare you some of the little bit of back and forth. But now we're up at 30, so we're up 7 ticks. I have my stop loss set at only 4. So here I moved the stop loss up a little bit as well. What's interesting here, you see on the ticker tape, this is the Ultrabond, you're just seeing like pinks and reds. Those are sellers hitting this, and they're not clearing it out. Buyers are not giving up. They're saying no. And if anything, they're adding on. Like you just saw 166 more contracts trade there. 200, I mean, they're popping it up, popping it down, and the buyers just keep piling on. So you have refreshing orders there. So every indication that this is going to continue to get pushed up. Again, I'm staying at least a tick away from the activity just because the last thing I want is for it to flash down, take me out, and then go on its run. That's the one tricky thing with the sim is sometimes you get filled. Sometimes it's favorable and sometimes it's not so favorable because you don't actually have your position in the queue. So, and that actually happened on one of the earlier trades. I didn't mention it, but I mean, 1 contract trade and it took me out of my position for a profit, but you know, in the real world, I would have been at the back of the queue. I wouldn't have necessarily gotten actually filled there. So here we go. At this point, it's sitting right here. I don't touch anything though. I'm not giving up anything. I'm not going to move this down. If I get taken out, I get taken out. I can always re-enter like I have a few times already. And it doesn't actually trade anything at my level. So again, you have buyers just pile on. You've got a nice big amount here. And there I do get taken out. But nice little run there. Alright guys, there you go. Another exciting day in the world of the Ultrabond and grabbing some ticks. Definitely an active day. Happy overall with how things went. And I did end up hitting that consistency roll. I did a bunch of 1 ticks in there as well. I mean, it gets repetitive, so I didn't bother to include every single trade. But there were some nice ones in there. I will leave you with that. Thanks so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next video.